and say hello, everyone. Is the stream working? If so, that's the bee's knees. All is good in the hood.
It actually looks like it's working.
It's working. Oh my goodness, everyone. Thank you for watching Top Clack. Thank you for joining us today. We have a lot of exciting news. I wish I had some Bira when I'm going to be talking about this Mira, and Brian and I are going to be talking about how we're going to be getting our fix because we're going to be getting our E6.
Oh, that's what you had? Even mine was better than that. Sheesh. For real though, the E6. Roll intro.
Oh no, the intro just roll what you're saying.
Oh. I wasn't looking at the stream.
No worries. This is the first stream of the year, and I think is the stream lagging? Tell me if it's lagging, people. Looks like it's lagging on me, but could be wrong. I changed a lot of settings recently, and people told me that the quality improved, but when there's a lot of movement, it lags. So that's the issue. I might go back. Yes, a little. Looks okay. Rip old intro. It stopped. Lag when I played the intro. Okay. We'll keep that in mind.
No sound, but it's probably not true because the Megaforce.
Well, yeah, happy New Year's, everyone. It's the 4th now. I know it's a bit late to be saying that, but this is our first stream of the year. Brian, how was your New Year's?
I worked all weekend.
How was that? Did you get some fat tips from some drunk happy people at least?
No.
Oh.
It was awful, actually. It was like some of the worst week of work I've ever had. But that's not what we're going to talk about because that is not exciting. We have lots of keyboard news to talk about as per the usual, and coming up a little bit later at our new normal guest time, we'll have Coda on. Super awesome, wholesome guy that has a lot of knowledge. So we'll have a little bit more fun later on, as well as a Q&A at the very end, just like we always do. So, without further ado, Huey,
now we must
take
do
us the news section.
Which of course
tonight at 11
isn't working right now because I don't know. Let me fix it. Lol. What hardware celebration? Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. There we go.
Guys,
it's fixed.
Top Clack technical difficulties.
Top Clack is awesome. It's working. Let's still go to the keycap news at the beginning. An interest check for GMK Taro. Yes. A lot of people have been really looking forward to a purplish kind of set since really haven't had many for GMK. The closest thing is what, JTK, which is no fair bone against GMK. But here's GMK Taro.
Yeah, purple is the new every other color and has been for a while.
Compatibility looks good. Looks like they've done their homework on compatibility.
Yeah, this is a stupidly compatible set.
So
I mean that in a good way.
That is hunky dory. You know what the accents remind me of with that purple? Skeletor. Just a little bit. A hinge of Skeletor.
I was hoping you were gonna say bubblegum.
No, what?
Bubblegum is like bubblegum.
No, but whenever I think of bubblegum, I think of like pink, like
Well, you forget that I'm colorblind. This actually, to me, this could totally be pink.
That is true. I'll tell you, it is not pink. It is taro colored, which doesn't help you because you're colorblind.
I appreciate the effort, anyways. This is a set done by P-Wade3 and Alex at Ponk, both very cool guys, members of the Top Clack Discord as well, which is sweet. Very nice people, and this is kind of like their debut set. I think I don't believe either of them have ever designed or interest checked a set in the past that I'm aware of. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, how do we feel about this set, Huey?
I like Taro, and I've wanted a GMK purple set for a while. For a while, I was really waiting on GMK Violet tendencies, but this just might take the place of something that might actually happen sooner than never.
True. It's a nice looking set. I like it. It's different.
Yeah. I'm excited to see. I really hope they have some more renders for us coming up for pictures, because I'm excited. I'm interested to see how those accents turn out actually.
Yeah, I need to see some thesis camper level stuff going on here. I'm assuming, I'm trying to find it right now, but I'm assuming Oblotsky probably did the renders.
That looks pretty Oblotsky styled.
Okay, here we go. Oblotsky for the renders. So, yeah, I mean, not that he doesn't do a good job or anything, but we only have one top-down picture here, and it'd be nice to see it from different angles, maybe with different lighting, stuff like that. But hey, I'm just gonna complain because that's kind of what we do here at Top Clack.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
I mean, it's an interest check. You know, I can talk about what I want.
If I am gonna complain, that's my least favorite HHKB backspace.
I agree with that. I prefer
the box with the arrow and the X, or where it says backspace.
Yeah, yeah. Or what you do, I think it was GMK Honeywell actually has two.
Yes,
there's a 1.5 backspace and a 1.5 delete. I like 1.5 delete also because I think that looks really classy to me. But 1.5 backspace is also very acceptable in my opinion. But yeah, even the arrow with the box, which kind of looks tackier, but I still think it looks better than this.
Yes.
Personally.
Which, when you think about it, it's odd because everything else is text mod, but then you have that arrow, as opposed to like, because the backspace 1.75 exists, or 1.5. I mean 1.5. That exists as a key. There. So why didn't they opt to go for the text? I don't know, but of course this is an interest check, so if you are interested and you are going to check it out, do so and let them know that that should be a backspace text instead of that arrow, because
consistency. That's
consistency. Why. Apparently there are renders if we scroll down.
Oh,
why doesn't people not post it in the top posts? I'm scrolling down. I've come on, guys. See, you guys are making.
I don't even see it.
This is not how you do it. Interest check.
Okay.
And with that, we are going to be moving on.
I don't even see any. There's one other render, and it's like the same thing as the first picture, but it's just with like a shadow.
Next, we're moving on to the set, the Maxkey SA F-22. Words. That's a plane for those of you who may not know. More specifically, it is a jet that goes pew, 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 in the sky.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah. That novelty enter though. Well, there's lots of plane novelties. There's an F. Wait. Hold on. What is with this like novelty set? There's a 1UF and two 1U2 keys. Like, where are you even supposed to use those? What are those intended for?
What?
That is weird.
Why isn't it on a single key, an F-22 key? I'd rather have a single F-22 key instead of like F-22. Because like,
you just put it like anywhere on the board.
Where the only places you have 3 key clusters are your navigation, the insert home page up and the delete end page down. Otherwise, your your function row, there are 4 key clusters, right?
Yeah, and this is row 4. By the looks of it, these are in row 4.
So I mean, like, what?
Huh. Very interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't understand that. But aside from that, how does the set look to you, Huey?
Compatibility is meh. Maxkeys, of course. I don't care for it. I mean, the mods are decent. The mods kind of reminded me of an SA version of Sky Dolch, but the alphas with those mods aren't cutting it for me. I'm not digging the theme. I'd rather them done what was that other set? That was very aeronautical.
I know what you're talking about.
It was yellow and blue. I won't say Top Gun, but that's the movie with Tom Cruise. I don't think they actually called the set that. I called the set that internally. Because...
it's...
Danger Zone. Thank you, Mark. Danger
Danger
Zone.
Zone. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Are like military themed key sets like? Is that like something that people in the community want? Because this has been around for a while now. We've, like you said, we have Danger Zone, we had Commando, we had Strong Spirit. You know, we have this. We have I guess you could probably argue Nuclear Data isn't
DSA
really
Combat.
military, but oh yeah, the combat set. Like there's been a lot of military themed sets, and to my knowledge, none of them really sell that well, barring Danger Zone perhaps, which was like mildly successful.
And that's because it had like the really cool novelties like pitch and yaw and like actual.
That was also a while back.
Yeah.
Too. Like that was kind of an older set by today's standards. So I don't know. Price $95 at the final drop with free shipping to the U.S.
No, thank you.
Yeah, definitely a pass for
we're gonna have to pass on this, bro.
That's gonna be a hard pass, sir.
But it's available. If I mean, I don't even say I don't even think the price is that good, to be honest.
No,
95.
Black compatibility. No. I need at least $80 or less.
I would take JTK over that. But interestingly, is Dyesub, Greyscale, PBT, group buy. It's gonna be designed by KP Republic, who people all know them about their AliExpress shop. Very simple set. You know, it's just a Grayscale PBT set. According to this picture, possibly with some accents. MOQ is only going to be a low 50 sets. Yeah, it's just an affordable, thick PBT set. $55 to $75. The thing they care about is 1.5 millimeter thick PBT and no LED bleed.
Why do they not have pictures of the full set? I need to know compatibility. I'm looking through it here and I can't see. Oh, here you gotta actually open up the Google Doc for it, which is strange. You should have that picture should be immediately in your first.
I like how like post. It's not even like of this set.
Wait, you're right. That's Huey.
Big China at it again.
This isn't even concrete. He says base set will most likely include all these keys minus the accents. You gotta know, like even in the IC, like you gotta at least have like a better idea, like a foundation of what keys you're gonna be starting with.
That's good.
When people say things like most
but
likely,
this is a very early interest check. I mean, this is to gauge the interest. So hopefully through this they can solidify more information. This is very bare bones. I wish they did a little bit more before they went on with like, here's a thing. But they did not. They just were like, thing. So we'll see. I mean, if it stays cheap, closer to the $55 range, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
$55 cherry profile PBT Dyesub with good compatibility. Sign me up.
And if, and having good compatibility is very important for this next topic, which is the keyboard news, which is CapsUnlocked over in where are they? Europe? Yeah, Europe. They are doing a lot of interest checks, like 6 at the same time for 2018. The CU24, CU30, CU60B, CU-HHKB, CU75. Sorry, it's 5 things, not 6, but yeah. This. So here's the main features that they're gonna say all their projects. Okay, QMK fully programmable, RGB underglow, for some reason ISO support, 5 degrees, in switch LEDs, top mounted plates, compatibility for cherry and Alps switches, switch top removable plates, if your switches accommodate that, mini USB, aluminum top cases except for the 60B, south-facing LEDs to blind you, and a black PCB with silk screen. Yes.
Okay.
Cases are being designed by Heinebusch, member of Cartel. He's designed other things in the past. That's no, he's only designing the CU75. The 24, 30, 60B, CU, and HHKB are by Seiyu. And CU30 has been by Yenkar.
Okay.
Based on the single render we have for the 75,
for any of these products?
75.
Yeah.
What dost thou thinkst?
It looks fine.
But does it?
It's kind of reminiscent of the Tokyo 60, maybe? A little bit. Maybe. I don't know. I think it looks very simple. It looks like it'll be affordable, which is cool. Like, it doesn't look like super fancy, but it looks like it supports a lot of the things that a lot of people will actually want. What I really like, actually, is in the if you scroll up and look at the very first picture in the thread, if you look at the CU30, which is like, I don't know, it's not called a Let's Split. What is it called when it's that? What is that layout normally called?
Which part?
I don't know.
The linear part or the splitting part?
The like how many keys it has. Like, it's not a Let's Split, but there's like a larger version of the Let's Split.
Let's just call it the
Chat, help
fat
me.
split. I don't know.
Chat, help. Anyways, what I like about that is that case is actually angled, which is neat to me because I've never seen a split ortho board that wasn't flat.
Yeah, they're mostly all just, they're mostly sandwich cases, They're like, but you can't eat them, which is the worst part of a sandwich case.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a sandwich, like, you gotta be able to eat that. Oh, Nyquist, I think someone is saying. Yes, I think the Nyquist is what I'm thinking of. Thank you. Anyways, that's pretty cool. I like that. So when you have like an angled case, to me, it automatically feels and looks more premium. And right now, like, split ortho boards all look really cheap to me on the market right now. Yeah. Like, it's obvious it took more machine time and more material and, maybe a little bit more design work. And I like that effort put in because I think it's going to make a better product. So I think that's probably going to be the big winner out of this group for me. I think that's probably the neatest thing. The rest of them look fine. I'd like to see a better picture of the HHKB just to see how it might compare to something like, I don't know, the Tokyo 60 and maybe the FL Pro in terms of strictly looks.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of things going on.
I just want to see actual more renders to give a better judgment about these because these are just so basic.
Yeah, need better renders. But
supposedly this says all 2018. Do you think they mean 2018 group buy starts or 2018 shipped out for all 5 of these projects?
Group buy starts.
Yeah, let's be real here.
I think the only way you could not have that would be like if you ran all of it at once, like just all of it at the same time.
Yeah, that's.
And I that probably won't happen. That seems like a logistical nightmare. So I don't know. We'll see. But I mean,
we'll see.
Could be cool.
Something that a lot of people are excited to see is the group buy opening up for the AL1 by Triangle Lab.
Okay.
Ooh.
So we talked about this when it was an interest check phase a little while back.
It's last week or the week before,
yeah.
But very recently.
And my opinions on it haven't really changed. I think it's okay. I think it's very niche. It's not really for me. I never really cared much about that Blackbird kind of style. But I think the quality of the case looks all right. I like this first picture a lot. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I won't be getting one.
I won't be getting one. What do you think about the LED placement on that for the indicators?
I think
it's kind of like the only spot, right?
That's the only spot you could put those on this board.
I'd put them vertically, so you have that that straight line from home to the down arrow.
I agree with that. In fact, actually, I don't know if it's just like a mistake on the render or if he means to do this, but there's more space between the right indicator and the numpad 4 than there is between the left indicator and the enter key. That kind of bothers me a little bit. That's like the first thing I noticed. So I don't know. Hopefully that's evened out in the actual.
They've evened it out.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think? Let's assume it gets the lowest MOQ only. 30 units.
30 units, $290. Shipping is nothing to bat an eye at either. $52 to the US is just about the cheapest shipping option. If you're anywhere else, it's going to be a little bit more, including $70 to Vietnam. Wow, $70 shipping. Brutal. Brutal noodle.
I know it's already hit over 40, but I always like considering how a value is for the worst case scenario, which is 290.
Yeah.
So even
absolutely.
that, it's already probably gonna hit 50 at this point, 260, which actually I would think that's a pretty good value. But at the worst case, 290, I would honestly say no. 260, a bit more swallowable because that chips out a big chunk of your shipping. But it's still, like, I mean, 260 for all aluminum, brass weight. That's
plus $52 shipping to the US.
So you're at $300. If we take the layout,
obviously you're gonna pay the $14 for laser engraving.
Duh. But like let's take the thought of like the preference of the layout. Aluminum case, aluminum plates, optional blockers, brass weights. 300 plus. That's looking kind of...
The price does seem pretty normal, pretty on par for this kind of thing. So it's fine. USB-C, you get fully programmable via TMK. Something you don't really see that often these days, I feel like.
I mean, if it's with TMK, you can use QMK, I believe.
Yeah. Well, QMK is just...
a fork of TMK.
A branch of TMK, if I recall.
A fork, a branch. I don't know why they can't keep consistent with your utensils.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But, little teaser.
We'll figure out next Friday.
Yeah, a little teaser. Next Friday, Huey and I are going to be getting a QMK for Dummies lesson. That'll be probably a stream, but could be a video. Haven't really decided anything quite yet, but at the very least, it'll be a fun time. Jack was kind enough to send me a Prionic, and Huey got something else, I think.
I will be receiving a clue board from Scully Days, Zach, and they're going to be our tutors on how to QMK with top clack. I really hope they're patient.
Oh yeah, they're both like really nice people, and so it should be. I mean,
Brian, they're very, very nice, but we're not terribly smart.
That's true. Compared to us, Scully and Jack are both absolute geniuses, and it's gonna be a fun time though. You guys probably won't want to miss it.
We're pretty practical people, but things like that are.
We're not out getting our doctorate like Vector. Feels bad, man. Anyways, wrapping up this little topic.
But
Buy obviously on right now, so join if you want. Price is reasonable. We just kind of decided on that. If you're into that kind of Blackbird-esque style.
But how about the style of the AEK 64 that this person made? This is really nice. So this person designed this case, and they made the files available free to download. So you're going through the pictures, you might notice, very interesting, there's a picture where there's a zigzag through the middle of the keyboard, and that's because this person plans to 3D print this case and connect both halves. But my thought is, if the files are available, and if someone wanted to like machine this for whatever reason, because they're just baller without a budget, they could use the file, modify it so there's no slit, combine both parts. I don't know how hard that is, but I assume it shouldn't be terribly hard if you know how to 3D stuff.
If you know how to 3D stuff. I love this show, man.
I'm just really happy this person took the time to make this, and then they made it available for free to the community. Yeah, regardless of how good or bad it is, because it'll be a 3D printed project, I'm happy they made this just like, here you go, do as you will, modify, change, create content. That to me is cool.
Such a major thing in our community. So it's cool always cool to see that.
Personally, I'd never care to type on a 3D printed case. Personally,
no, I have before, and it wasn't very pleasant. I have several times before, and it's
meetups.
Really
Yep. Every time I go to a meetup, someone's like, "Look at you, the 300 case." I'm
it's
like,
cool. It serves a purpose. It's usually cheap.
I'll stick to just looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do, and it's usually pretty inexpensive. But when it comes to actual like typing feel and sound, it's usually not very satisfying, in my opinion. Speaking of what may or may not be satisfying, hold on, let me grab this.
Yeah, Brian, what may or may not be satisfying, Quakemz?
So, let me open my Skype real quick so I can actually see what I'm doing. All right, so about a week ago, Varmilo hit me up, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to review something?" And I was like, "It depends on if it's interesting." And they're like, "Well, we got this, like, we're releasing a new keyboard with a new switch." And I was like, "That sounds interesting." So they sent me, I actually had no idea what I was getting. All I knew is I was getting a keyboard that had their new electro capacitive switches, which is the main reason I'm interested in, like, the whole thing, because, like, so they sent me this keyboard, full-size keyboard. So already I opened it up and I was like, "Ah, oh, crap, it's full size. Shit." You know me. Anyways, so I sat there and I typed on it for a second, and I was like, these feel kind of different. And I was trying to figure it out, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're electrocapacitive, but they're also, you know, an MX format switch, so they still have that mechanical feel. And to my surprise, they're also linear, which I thought was really neat. So I haven't had a ton of time with this board yet. I'm gonna probably start using it tonight, and then use it for, I don't know, a week or so. Then I'll put out a review. But if you're interested in the new Sakura Pink Varmilo electrocapacitive key switches, then stay tuned for that. So far, I think they're kind of neat. That's what I have to say so far. More coming soon. Also, these caps, like, I don't know if they use their own profile, but like they're really similar to Cherry.
Step sculpture.
That's Leopold, isn't it? Pretty sure that's Leopold. But this is Varmilo. The caps are pretty nice. Like it's like a smooth PBT, and it's like basically Cherry profile. So pretty happy to see that. Anyways, yes, if you're interested in that, stay tuned. At a later date, I will have a review out on it in the very near future.
But you know what also is a good typing experience? I'm going to skip topics. I'm just going to remove this because the stream is at just us two and not the news doc. It'll be easier. Recently, I built a Mira. Ooh, with holy pandas. If you haven't checked out the typing sounds video or the build stream, you should. I make holy pandas, which took forever, and then I built this, which also took forever, but it happened. I will have a review on this Mira sometime down the road. I have like a lot to do. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna bring it to my next meetup I attend, but we will see. We'll see. It's
you probably should.
6 pounds, 8.1 ounces.
Pretty hefty keyboard. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Mac Merlin in chat says, "I'm not looking forward to making my holy pandas." Well, that's fine because you actually hate holy pandas, so. So why would you don't even need to make them? I'll solve your problem right there. Don't even.
Oh, I do want to show off though for some of you who missed the stream. One of the cool parts of the Mira, people mentioned that it does come with this awesome bag that does say Mira on it. This is made by Eve.
I'm gonna be honest. I hate the way that bag looks.
Yeah,
although I do like the Mira branding.
I don't care about the ridges. Because
yeah, I don't know.
I don't need it to be ribbed for my pleasure, but at least it holds the keyboard pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if it keeps the keyboard safe, that's its purpose. So.
Okay, let's go back to this news doc because our boy Rama is like, "Hey, USB-C is the future. Am I right?"
That sounds just like Rama.
Yeah, I mean, it's sold out now, but I still want to talk about it because this is the cheapest product Rama has ever released, which is a $14 USB cable.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, and I mean, with USB-C starting to be a lot more prominent in keyboards that are coming out lately, I think Rama was looking to take advantage of that market and maybe get out a nice premium and aesthetically pleasing USB-C cable. So good on him. $14, not a bad price for how it looks. Has a little Rama branding there, a little X logo.
But where's the rose gold?
I don't know. What are the color options? Are there more than just the one?
I think he just did the one in the Pantone 431 in gray. So hopefully in the future he's gonna have more high end, super legit cables.
Yeah.
Cool. Rama's a cool guy.
Yeah, baby.
Nice to. Moving on, the interest check for the Zesk, a 6-key macro pad by Toets. This is some fancy advertising for it.
It looks really cool though.
Right.
It's actually pretty neat.
So I mean, this or the Rama pad equivalent. This is like a Rama territory for what it's aiming for. The aesthetic and how the advertising is set up, that breakaway shot, like Is Toets the next person we're gonna watch out for in the aesthetics game?
I mean, he's got 3 posts on Keycaps, so I'm gonna go ahead and say maybe not yet, if anything else. But I think the product looks cool. I think it was designed with a lot of aesthetic in mind. I don't think it's gonna be something that overthrows Rama's M6, because I think the M6 is really, really cool and comes with a lot of extra cool stuff. But this is pretty neat. I don't know.
I would like the idea if Toets is actually Rama in the same way Gaff.
Oh my god!
Right?
Yeah. He's like, I just want a fresh start and like just be able to like do my own thing.
Like,
he's like, yeah, guys, it's just me. that'd be hilarious. So is this all metal?
No. The top is ABS powder coated red orange. The shell is going to be anodized black though, and the bottom is going to be the ABS red orange as well. It's going to be plastic metal plastic.
Okay.
USB-C, Pro Mic Pro, PCB.
One thing that I think the M6 has over this a lot in that regard now is the fact that the M6 only comes in all brass.
And the M6's bottom feet is just that circle of aesthetic goodness.
So one thing, I think, I mean, I'm not a professional macro pad user like maybe some of our audience. I don't use them very often. But one thing I would say is if you're using something that's this small, I'd probably want it to be really heavy, so that way it wasn't so easy to move. So having the construction be a lot of plastic is going to make it a little bit lighter. I know this middle section is still aluminum, but aluminum's not ridiculously heavy either, and there's not going to be a ton of it. So this is going to be something that moves around a lot, I think.
You say that, I think, this is off topic, Brian. I think I want to do a video in the future where I take a light board and I just completely fill it as much as I can with lead tape to see how heavy I could actually make it, and I bring it to a meetup and be like, check out this plastic, what's that board that you hate? V60.
Oh, that probably is my least favorite.
And there's like, and there's
a while back I was thinking about doing the penny mod or whatever on my HHKB, where you just like you put like layers of pennies in the bottom of the case and tape it all down or something. And so it just like it doesn't like move. I thought that was I might still do that actually. I think that's a really, really cool idea that will only cost me like
pennies.
I don't know, like $3 maybe.
Not
like tops.
Do you think you can fit 300 pennies in your AJ?
If I do like multiple layers, yeah. It depends on how many layers I get. But okay, maybe $2. Between $1.50 and $3 probably.
Tree fitty.
And I don't know if you know your boy Quakemz likes that value, because I'm living that broke life. So, I'm saving up my pennies. Not even kidding. It's gonna happen.
Okay, let's move on to our boy J-Chan over at the Keyclack goodness. We have some more news from him soon. BKE new variants, superlights, mediums, and extremes available this month, my dudes, as well as new silencing rings coming out really soon. Very, very thin at 0.25 millimeters, discounted when you bundle them. Also available this month. What do you think about him expanding the BKE line to all these different flavors?
Well, my initial thought is that it might be too soon. So my question is, has he gotten enough feedback on the 2 current weights to justify being like, oh shit, the community needs, you know, a medium weight, an extra lightweight, and obviously an extra heavyweight?
You know, in my opinion, I feel like the extremes were kind of odd. I understand the lights. That makes sense to me. The super lights, I mean. That makes sense to me because with the super extreme tactileness of even the normal BKE lights, I can kind of understand the desire for something lighter that might not be as poppy. Mediums?
I think the medium makes the least amount of sense out of the 3 personally. I'm using the BKE heavies right now. Yes, they're pretty heavy, but I know a lot of people like switches a lot heavier than I do. So I think there's a market for the extreme, and obviously even the normal lights aren't the lightest switch in the world. So I can see the need for having an even lighter version, but to have one that's between the light and the heavy, I think is kind of interesting.
I want to get some extremes.
I would use them too. Probably.
I'll throw my HHKB.
Yeah.
But yeah,
anyways,
it's a good update.
He's doing other things as well. He's got silencing rings coming out for those that weren't aware. For $20, you get 120 of them, and they're kind of fancy. Honestly.
Great price to TBH, at least compared to everything is great price compared to Hyperspheres. The penny mod's a great price compared to Hyperspheres, but I'm not sold on rings, on silencing rings for Topra. I mean, here's my disclaimer for everyone watching. I don't care about how loud a keyboard is because that doesn't affect me in the slightest. I care about how it feels, and silencing rings will only, in my opinion, for my typing preference, only negatively affect the feel no matter how thin they get because of what they're meant to do.
Yeah, no matter how thick they are, they're still going to be reducing travel and, you know, making your upstroke a bit softer. So, I mean, but it's preference, you know. Some people like that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, look at how big silencing methods are for Topra.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
They're massive. You know, you had hyperspheres were like insanely popular.
They were the bee's knees.
People are still hunting for those stock purple silenced real force sliders, like the genuine ones. You know, the Type S is out there. People, dental bands. There's other things going on. Like, silencing Topra was a big deal because, you know, for whatever reason, everyone needs the most silence possible.
Vector used to have a tape mod guide for stabs. Like, yeah, it's a big deal. To be fair, I think part of the reason it's a big deal is because Topra is like its own niche within itself, and there's only so many things you can do with Topra, where people, because of that, people push the limits to Topra, you know. Push it to the limits. Okay. But that's just such a great song.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, though, like, if you're going to have silencing methods, why not make them the best they can be? And, you know, KBD Fans has those new rings out that a lot of people have been really, really, really enjoying.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious to do a comparison or review between those and these new ones from Keyclack. I think that'd be really cool.
If you want to do that, I have the KBD Fans ones. I just never installed them. I don't know. I should probably get these two, then do a video, huh? People probably care about this.
It'll be better if you do it because you can actually have like a
video. Because I have the most objective view because sound doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. Like I don't silence any of my.
That's true.
The only silencing method that Top Clack really endorses is looping.
Yes.
Because looping will make your Topra silence like more quiet. At least the BKEs kind of bring back some of the noise just because they're so freaking snappy, but it still tones it down a little bit.
Speaking of things getting toned down, on the opposite, duck, eagles, and vipers are probably getting a change in tone because you can now use them with GMK. They're officially supported. McMerlin's in chat. He is the one who posted the news. He is the...
Yeah.
He's
although his very first comment is wait, he was talking about
hey guys, just another instance of me riding on the shoulder of giants.
Yeah, exactly. so other perhaps, I mean, in my experience, maybe lesser known community members were working on this to get the Viper and Eagle V2 over to QMK, because if you're one of the people that have ever used a duck board, you know, a lot of people really hate the programming method that you have to use.
Would you like me to explain why it's so the OTD is so bad?
Oh, OD2 is what it's called, right?
Yeah.
O2D?
Whatever. Whatever it is. One of the reasons it's so bad, if I wanted to program my HHKB arrows, so the program was made in Korea, right? So it works best with Korean. So apparently Korean arrow keys register differently than they do in the US. So in order to program my arrow keys on this keyboard, I have to change my computer's system language to Korean in order to put arrow keys on this keyboard.
So we complain about QMK, but the real enemy over here is OTD. Anyways, yes. big step for the community, because the programming is probably the biggest thing that
I still have. I can still swap to Korean on my keyboard by hitting Windows and spacebar enough times. So I can switch between US QWERTY, US Dvorak, and Korean Microsoft IME.
All right, so very cool stuff. Hopefully we see more duck boards being able to use QMK or similar, because that'd be pretty helpful for a lot of people. You know what's also helpful?
What's also helpful for a lot of people, Ryan?
Top Clack.
Top Clack. Speaking of,
Top Clack wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that we do without our sponsors.
We have pretty cool sponsors, Brian. Who's one of our cool sponsors?
Well, I mean, we can go ahead and just I'm gonna throw an invisible dart at my monitor, which is my dartboard. Bam! All right, novelkeys.xyz. If you're in the market for some switches or something similar, you can head over to novelkeys.xyz and use promo code TOPCLACK and get all sorts of switches. Pretty much like it entirely new lineup from Kale. You got box switches, you got, you know, pro switches and speed switches, and the brand new box navies and box jades. I don't know if those are restocked yet. Actually, you might not be able to get those right now, which would be unfortunate because they're really cool. Mine just came in today. Super happy about it. I can't wait to put them in a board. Anyway,
I got
hell yeah, sell out, because you know what? Not only is Mike really cool, Novel Keys is really cool. I don't care. You can call me a sellout all you want, but I still support Novel Keys and their products because he does cool things and he's a really nice guy, and he deserves it. So yes, promo code TOPCLACK, 2 words, gets you 5% off.
Write a nice note in the note section.
A love letter. Write a love letter.
Love letter, love poem.
Love letter.
Good points about him you can put in that love letter. Things about his hair.
His beard.
His
He has
beard.
a pretty majestic beard. He's also just he's really attractive.
You can tell him he's really cool because he rides motorcycles, and obviously everyone who rides motorcycles are cool.
Yes.
Speaking of things that are cool, Imba Club are some pretty cool kids in that club over there, because Imba Club is doing things like the White Fox. They've recently released the K-Type on Massdrop. Well, Massdrop released their K-Type, but they're also working on some other great projects you should keep your eye out on, like the Hako switches shipping out next month, and most likely will be available in stock for order after that, which... Oh,
are they shipping next month?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, wow.
Next month,
quick.
February.
I didn't realize it was that soon.
Remember, they were doing the endurance tests, the stamina tests at the same exact time they're doing the Jade and Navy switches, right? So they had those done, and as soon as I'm sure they finished productions for these new Navies and Jades, they swapped over and we're gonna be like, we got you on these Hako switches.
Yeah.
So excited
awesome.
for that. So
Very
excited.
cool.
So excited.
Yeah. Aside from the Hako switches, which you should definitely pick up once they're back in stock, if you haven't already, they're opening up some new interest checks. So they have GMK Camping. We talked a little bit about that before. Pretty nice looking green set. So make sure you can show some interest there if you're into that sort of thing. Not really enough green cherry profile sets in the world. IMO. But this is a pretty nice one.
And you know what would look great with that set? A top Clack T-shirt.
Oh. Oof.
That I'm not wearing, and Brian's not wearing either.
Damn it!
I'm not even like representing the right brand. I'm renting a KBT fan shirt right now.
Cover up your shirt, man.
It's okay. It's from China, just like our third and final sponsor, Z Frontier. Hitting up over in China, subbing some of our content, doing awesome things like running a lot of group buys, a lot of key sets. Ooh-wee. Like, Z Frontiers, they're on a roll. This is the first week in about a month that they haven't been on a news topic. Haven't had a news topic for like a new thing that they're doing, either Intercheck or group buy.
Yep. Yeah. They're pretty much always putting out new things, which is cool. You know, they got DSA Peach coming out, they got DSA Drifter coming out. You know, the Alf and the Time just wrapped up recently. Both pretty cool stuff. And yeah. Oh, I didn't even realize they had wrist rests. I need to do wrist rest.
Want to get the $500 Jade one?
Wait, what? Hold on. Where is that? I haven't seen that yet.
Don't forget GMK Pristine as well, like mentioned in chat. If you're looking for a clean set because you missed out on Stormtrooper because that was quite a while ago nowadays, and there's nothing really as clean, Pristine. It is more than just clean. It is pristine.
Wow, that's pretty bad, dude.
The absolute best and worst. Yeah. So thank you so much to our partners who make the show possible. Also, I do want to do another shout out to Input Club because they will be flying me over to Arizona at the end of this month for a meetup in Arizona, and someone who can also help talk about that meetup a little bit more is our upcoming guest, Coda, the big Boda. Let's see if he is ready. Wanna give him a little ping.
Just call him in.
Just Yoro. Okay, I'm just gonna do an insert transition here. Slide. I'm just gonna.
Oh, so professional.
Right, dude.
Oh my god. Top Clack, easy D+ production quality.
Hey, I'm going for the C-. Like my average GPA and the rest of my keyboard classes are pretty low, so I gotta up my Top Clack scores. Coda, thank you very much for joining us on Top Clack.
Howdy.
How are you doing? How are you doing tonight?
Everything's going good.
That is good to hear.
Huey, your camera died.
My camera died? How did my camera die?
Something.
My camera did not die.
Maybe Skype is fooling with me then.
Skype is fooling with you.
I can't see you anymore.
Because my preview window is hunky dory.
All right, that's fine. Stream looks fine. That's what matters. Skype can mess with me all they want. I'll just deal with it. Anyways, Coda, how are you doing today? It's Top Clack Day. It's Thursday, obviously, and
Top Clack Day. First day on Top Clack. That's it's pretty exciting. Good to be here.
Popped your Top Clack cherry. Very nice. Very nice. Anyways, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the things that you've worked on in this community and why people should be aware of how awesome you are?
Yeah. I consider myself a bit of a no-name still, but I guess most people know me from my 65% keyboard aficionado. A couple years ago, I kind of wrote the guide on where to find 65% keyboards back when they were hard to find, when you could only make a neutrino. And like the Tada was like the new thing and the White Fox is a new thing. So that was kind of my first break into doing anything community-wise. But since then, I've kind of tried a few different projects along the way, got a couple interest checks for different projects out there. So, yeah.
Nice. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the products that you've put out and maybe some of the things you're most proud of and maybe not so much? Because I do want to touch on JTK Sun Devil for a quick bit in a little bit, but
okay, yeah,
maybe tell us about the things that you were really, really happy about that have been successful.
All right, well, let me talk about this meetup first. I mean, you guys were talking about Input Club. Super excited to hear that Input Club's bringing Huey out for the meetup. That's pretty awesome. And honestly, they've been great. I was able to meet meet Cameron here in person. Talked to quite a few of the Input Club guys lately. They've it's been awesome working with them. It was kind of special for me finding out that there's so many of them in Arizona. I'm kind of like in Arizona, like, well, all about pushing the local community here, because I get jealous seeing all the California meetups just blow up and go crazy. So I'm trying to make that happen here in Arizona. We'll see what happens though.
I'm hoping I can bring a little bit of the California pizzazz over to y'all in Arizona.
I mean, to be fair, our Hipio, he drove out from San Diego to our last meetup, so yeah, I mean, that's
a bit of a trek.
Yeah, a bit of a trek for sure. But yeah, well, we're going to be doing it at a hotel this year, which is pretty fantastic. We're getting a banquet room. From 4 to 6, there will be alcohol available for purchase.
Open bar?
He said for purchase.
I'm not selling an open bar, but it should be a good time regardless.
Anyways, yes. Moving on, meetup is going to be awesome. Like we said, Huey is going to be there. Input Club is very generously flying him out. They offered to fly me out too, and I was like, I don't know. I don't like traveling. As long as at least Huey's there, I think that's what matters.
I have to eat enough for the both of us. That's the hard part. You have to drink enough
for the both of us too.
There you go. I just put a link in chat as well to the details of the meetup. It's on the 27th of January, so it's coming up in a couple weeks. So super excited for that. So a couple other things I've had going on out there. I've put an interest check to do a local, like U.S. North America buy for the Slowbro 80, which is that like split V 65%. The Great Wall on Geekhack, he's run a couple of group buys on Taobao for it, and I inquired just to get a single one sent to me, just to add to my 65% collection. And he said, well, honestly, I don't want to send just one. Can you get a bigger order together? So I put an interest check out for that. I've got a few people interested. It's a pretty cheap kit. It's, you know, just a sandwich type little thing. It's so got that interest check out there. Probably be looking into doing that the next couple months, actually doing the order for it. But so another one. Let's go and talk JTK Sun Devil now.
Okay. Also, feel free to throw the Slowbro link into the chat too.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe someone there can benefit from that, because I don't even remember what it was. I know we talked about it in the show.
We covered it. Yeah, we definitely.
I don't really recall. I forget a lot of things because I'm a terrible person.
I mean, you cover so much news. It's fair.
Yeah, like I always forget about what we talked about like the last week every time. Anyways, while you're finding and putting that in the Twitch chat, yes, JTK Sun Devil. So this is a set that we did cover on the show at one point. I thought it was a fairly nice looking set, but I had concerns that because of the way it was advertised, it might not succeed. And you know, I'm not gonna rub it in anyone's face, but I like being great. But what were your thoughts going into that? Like, the way you designed that set, the way you wanted to advertise and run that set, and maybe your thoughts and concerns with how it ended up.
So I was looking for a red keycap set out there that wasn't so red. I wanted to do something a little more subdued. And I really liked the colors that ASU has, which I work about 3 miles from ASU. I never attended the school, so it's not like my alma mater or anything. So it was definitely inspired by ASU, and obviously it's called Sun Devil. That's their mascot or whatever. So I honestly just really like the colorway, so I decided to just kind of pick up with that whole theme. The part that I feel like that failed, and the part that I didn't like, so I reached out to Z Frontier about it, and things were going good. We're talking about kit options. We talked about, and this is something you guys have addressed with a lot of JTK sets before, we talked about adding all these different compatibility items, and every single key you add, they let you know how much it's going to cost to have that added to the set. And it gets to the point where, like, it's JTK, people don't want to spend too much money, but at the same time they want compatibility, so I don't want to push it to GMK pricing, because then it's like, well, just run GMK, you know? So I didn't get the full compatibility I wanted because of that. And then I also was unaware of the high mock that they had on it. You know, I was thinking that we could do like 150 MOQ, but it was a 300 MOQ to do a JTK set, which that's pretty steep.
High.
So you got to have a very well received set, something a little more basic that I think more people can get behind for that to work out. And then I feel like the timeline was just rushed. You know, I barely got an interest check out there once or twice, barely got renders, and then next thing I know, Z Frontier's like, hey, let's do it. Like, we got a great opportunity, let's do it. And I should have said no. I should have said no, let's let it marinate a bit, because, you know, sometimes things just got to get out there for people to become aware, to even know what there is, rather than try and grab a bunch at the same time, So it's something I definitely like to revisit, fix some people's concerns, you know, but maybe do better or different novelties so it's not so ASU or Sun Devil centric, but still keep the theme to that extent.
So if you were to rerun it, would you keep the JTK manufacturer, or would you change it up and maybe go GMK or a completely different profile?
I gotta stick cherry profile, to be honest. I've tried SA and DSA, just not a fan. I just can't do it. So if I'm gonna put effort into something, I'm gonna put something I want to use.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to do GMK. I was actually testing out some Dyesub options. So I got a few test runs of a Dyesub Sun Devil, like the reverse Dyesub, but honestly the guy I was working with, it wasn't working out well. Colors were wrong on each reprint. Legends were off-centered and stuff. So it's just like, okay, I might need to find a different avenue or a different person that does different dye subbing for it to work out. But...
Okay, fair enough. I'm seeing a couple questions already, but you know, we'll have a Q&A at the end of the show, like we always do, where you can ask Coda all about, you know, his favorite breakfast items, and just kidding, we'll do that. All about all about the things he loves and hates, and then, you know, we can get to those a little bit later. So save those questions for later. We will get to them, I promise.
So for everything that happened for Sun Devil, if you had to, you know, give a message to anyone who's considering running their own set in the future, or anyone who's even considering designing a set, what would you want to tell them? You know, I think you learned a lot, and knowledge is always a great thing to pass down.
I think it's all about getting a set in front of people. They need to see it multiple times before, like, that desire wants to, you know, that purchasing desire is going to grow. And if you or me, as a small person, not very well known in the community, I don't have a huge outreach. You know, there's some people that will post something on Reddit, and for some whatever reason, like, they'll go top post within an hour, and so it's very well seen. Another thing, I am not very active on Geek Hack or Desk Authority. I'm wondering if maybe I reached out to more of the geek hackers who've been around longer, with, you know, the older keyboard audience there. I'm getting some of their opinions. Yeah, and just reaching out and asking people about it more. When you go into anything artistic, and this is coming from me, I've done web design and graphic design in the background. You got to come at it with a point. Like, you can't take anything personal. Like, if somebody has feedback for you, take it, and you know, don't sweat it. Don't be mad that they don't like the thing you like. Not everybody's got to like it, you know. So I would say to ask for constructive criticism from people. If somebody says they don't like it, not for me, say, hey, why? What's up? What's wrong with it? And, you know, and take it, and, you know, just and be cognizant that once you start putting yourself out there in the internet world, the trolls will come. Just remember that. Talk to many creators, and trolls will always come.
Yeah, potato is always gonna potate.
Yeah,
yep.
Potato's gonna potate.
That's how it is.
Yep.
We learned a lot. Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Huey.
I would say that's a really good point. You know, having a big presence, because reaching a lot of people sounds easy in a small hobby, because you think, oh, they're all concentrated because there's so few of them, you can reach all of them. No, it's because they're all very niche. It's very, very hard to, like, just, hey everyone, I'm doing a thing.
Yeah, I mean, how many build logs do you see on Reddit where somebody honestly probably spent, hundreds of hours on this keyboard project, and they get like 30 upvotes, and that person's just like, man, I wish more people could see this awesome thing I did. And that's just the way things roll. So it's all about finding the way to get out in front of people, coming on Top Clack, pushing stuff on there, doing whatever you need to, so that way people know what's going on. I mean, if you don't know what's going on, nothing's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of plugging stuff, and obviously since you're on Top Clack, you are free to plug whatever you want, my man. Whatever you want. So, do you happen to have any kind of upcoming projects or teasers that you might want to talk a little bit about?
I do. So,
yay!
Yeah. I have been working with LF Keyboards. So I'm going to throw a link to their website in the chat here. LF Keyboards, they do several different custom PCBs for like the VA68. They do a 78K key layout. So they do several different custom PCBs, and that's what he's all about. He's honestly just really quick at making PCBs, and he assembles them in-house. He doesn't pay somebody to assemble them. He does them himself. He's got a reflow machine and everything. So he buys a bare PCB and puts it together, which is pretty cool. So he is making a PCB, which is a super compact 1800 layout. So think Duck Blackbird, but smaller. So let me get a link to that. So he's making the PCB, and he's going to be offering sandwich-style cases on his website, just like he does with his other keyboards. But what I'm going to be doing is working with an Arizona local machine shop to make some keyboards, an Arizona keyboard made and built in Arizona with these PCBs. So I kind of took that from Evan. Evan used to live here in Arizona from the Van Keyboards, and he's all about made in the USA. So I'm going to try this out. So I just threw it in the chat there. I don't have a name for the board just yet. Right now, it's just called Project Z. That's all it's known as right now. But yeah, there's that link to the Imager link there. It has a couple of Photoshops I did. So it's like the TXCP, the text compact board, but take that F-row off, and that's kind of what's left there. So,
is this different from a Blackbird layout?
Yeah. So the Blackbird has the two one-unit keys between the backspace and the num.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes. Okay.
How about? You didn't go to ASU, but you said you liked the Sun Devil and the idea of it. Does the Sun Devil itself actually have a name for that school? Like the actual name of the...
Sparky.
I don't think Sparky is a good keyboard name. I'm sorry.
That's the extent that Top Clack can help with.
The Sparky.
Project Z. This is going to just wind up being called like the Coda CP. It's gonna be like something really generic and kind of boring.
So LF Keyboards, he's calling it the LF Keyboards 1800C is what he's labeling the PCB as of right now. But
that could confuse people because people are like, what happened to the A and B versions?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, C stands for compact, so yeah, that's what the. But then the CP, you got that other, yeah. So.
Maybe chat can help you name this.
All right, chat, help me out. There you go. It's gonna be the McCain keyboard.
Yeah, we're gonna name this. We're gonna do this right now. Come on, chat, get in here. Oh man. All right, cool stuff. Well, while Chad is helping us name this, maybe we can get a little bit closer to our Q&A.
But before that, I want to know, what keyboard are you typing on right now, Coda?
I currently have one of my most recent builds, all aluminum clue board. The two-piece design of this keyboard is freaking awesome. The fact that the plate is milled into the top section just makes this keyboard feel so solid. I absolutely love that feature about this.
Do you get blinded by the underglow by the spacebar?
The south facing LEDs.
No, it's because
it doesn't support LEDs at all. It doesn't have.
Oh, it's the underglow. Oh, it's the.
Scully was kind enough to lend me one of those for review a while back.
Yeah.
After not the most recent NorCal meetup, but the one before that, he sent me home with one, and I was like, okay, this board's pretty cool. And the biggest complaint I had about the board was that there's actually on the bottom piece, like the layer that you see inside the case is mirrored. It's like a mirror finish, so it reflects the underglow through the plate, like under the spacebar, like by the spacebar. Like, hold the board up again, please, Coda. So look at that spacebar section. That's all underglow, and it's like, it was like absolutely blinding me when I typed. Oh man, that was like the only like real complaint I had about that board, because the rest of the board is really cool, but that drove me nuts, man. I don't know why that's a thing.
I'm not. I used to be all hype train or underglow stuff. I'm not huge on the lighting. I think that just kind of happens as you're around the community more. Lights die, so I don't have it on too often. But I can totally see where you're coming from with that.
Yes, the integrated plate. That's one thing I'm really happy that they did when they did the AEK64. Also, Zach also ran on his shop. This is the same thing where the top piece, the plate is milled into the top piece. It's only a 2-piece case, including the plate, instead of the normal 3-piece, which
is also going to be how the Tokyo 60 is done.
I was going to say Tokyo 60
is the next one like that.
Very cool. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I kind of want to do that for my board after having this glue board for the last month. It makes me want to try it, but we'll see how cost prohibitive it is, because that's a lot of milling.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, chat. It's Q&A time, so please make sure you're using the @TopClack tag. That way we can see questions a lot easier and get to them a lot faster and more cohesively. So go ahead and shoot us your questions.
But while we wait for those questions to be shot in, Coda, the big question of the night: pancakes or waffles?
Why not both?
You could think about this. I wonder if you're the first person to say that, actually.
I think he actually is.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna join the waffle gang. Waffles, specifically Belgian waffles. They got to be nice, thick, nice, crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. I'm about the waffles.
Have we had a pancake person?
Do the other members of your family balance you out and like pancakes?
Yeah, we eat pancakes more often than waffles. Let's be honest.
I'll take it.
So go ahead and get the rest of your family on the show. And you can... Honey. Yeah. Okay. So actually, a question I had before we get to the chat's questions, because obviously I'm really important and take priority.
Of course.
So, like other people in the community, like some other people in the community, you actually have like a family and I assume like a full-time job. So, but you're also very active in the keyboard community. It's like, is it really tough to balance like that kind of life?
It certainly is. So Thursdays, like tonight, it's bath night for my kids. I've got a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. So usually right now I would be bathing my kids with an earplug in, listening to Top Clack. That's usually the way I roll. But today I bathed them early to make this happen. We put our kids to bed early so that way I have a chance to work on projects and stuff like this. But I've definitely involved my kids. I've let them bang on my cheaper keyboards, and I'm gonna grab a keyboard since Olivia's calling for it in chat.
I know which one.
Yes, so I've made posts about this. So I have a daughter who's really into My Little Pony, so yes. I did the thing any good father would do, and I made a My Little Pony Force 68. So we sticker bombed a Magic Force together, painted it with unicorn blood on the back. So we made a keyboard together. I mean, she just helped us put stickers on. So,
like any good father.
That's awesome.
All right, we'll go ahead and start on the chat questions now, because we do have several already. That one Oscar is asking, what do you guys think about how fast the E6 V2 is shipping? A lot of people have gotten the tracking number already. Sadly, I have not gotten mine. I love it. Actually, me and Huey both got our tracking for it
this morning.
Both of ours arrive on Monday the 8th, so 4 days from now. Hopefully, Huey and I will be basking in that E6 goodness. So I'm happy about it. Exclusive. I mean, from what it seems like so far, Exclusive really turned this group buy around and is doing a really good job. I mean, he's cutting out the middleman. He got us a cheaper price on everything.
Yeah.
Like everything costs like $30 less or $40 less or whatever than when Jae Hong was going to do it.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we got a cheaper price. Exclusive is insanely active in the Geekhack thread. Like he answers every question, and like he posts pictures. It's amazing. He's been doing a killer job, and obviously we don't have the products in hand yet, so I can't really comment on the quality. But so far, everything looks really, really nice, and I'm happy with how things are turning out.
Best group buy comeback ever.
Yeah, I can't think of another one that's been salvaged this well, and like it's fast too. Like it's only taken him a couple months, right? Like it was November, I think, when I repaid my invoice.
You know, I'm getting it on Monday. I still have no clue when I'm getting my E8, which ran about 3 months or 2 months before the E6.
4. Yep. So I don't know, man. Exclusive is doing good stuff by the looks of it, and that's cool. It sucks that you haven't gotten your tracking yet, but maybe soon. I mean, Huey and I are obviously both in the U.S. and we got our tracking number, so could be sooner than you think. All right, Megaforce is asking what your favorite Filberto's burrito is. I'm assuming that one's for Coda because I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, so obviously Megaforce, he's a fellow Arizonan. Californians have Filibertos as well. My favorite burrito is the country burrito with bacon. I frequent Filibertos for breakfast burritos. You couldn't tell by looking at me, I'm sure.
We appreciate eating on Top Clack.
Oh yeah.
What exactly is in that burrito for anyone that's wondering?
Walk us through bite by bite.
Bite.
Yeah. What are the layers like when your teeth go through it?
Diced potatoes. You got pico de gallo. You got eggs, shredded cheese, bacon, and salsa. And I just greasy. I mean, these burritos like the size of your forearm. You eat one, you don't have to eat lunch, and that's my favorite thing about it. So
you don't have to eat lunch because you're a quitter. I eat another one for lunch. I get 2 because I stock up, you know. And this is why I'm gonna die early. But damn it, I'll be happy. All right. Yes, Olivia, we already covered that question about the My Little Pony board. Very cool. HHKB for Life is asking, any predictions for the next MT3 profile colorway? That's a really interesting question. Are people planning on
Granite?
I was gonna say, what's the original colorway?
Well, when they launched it,
it was like Triumph Adler-ish.
They had like 3 options.
They had that, a beige one, and Russian Legends.
Okay.
Skrillex,
that's what they're called. Yeah.
Come on. Okay, yeah, okay. So there's a base kit, and then there's beige mods, Triumph mods, and I guess that's it. There's only 2.
Then there's the Dev TTY kits with extra pretty colors.
There's actually a lot of kits in this breakdown.
You got the RGB kits and the cyan, magenta.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I actually I'm actually in this drop, and there was an update pretty recently that it's shipping to mass drop very soon.
This month. Yeah, I'm in it too. Still, hopefully for some reason.
Soon. I went pretty bland. I think I went with Triumph mods actually, and just like the base kit or whatever. So I'll have to put it on a standard board because I didn't feel like spending a ton of money. But it looks neat. I was able to test out a 3D printed set of this profile a long time ago. I made like a small write-up review about it as well. It's very interesting. I mean, the caps felt kind of weird because they were 3D printed, but I'm very excited to see the how the finished product turns out because the profile is pretty neat. So yeah.
Cool beans.
Melodit is asking, have any of you heard the reports of Jades being slow to return? What is your opinion, and do either of you plan on lubing them as a result? Good question.
I know what people mean, but like when you type on them really fast, IMO, you don't really feel that slow to return. I know what people are talking about.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like this actually gets brought up a lot. A lot of people were really, like, even looking at the force graph, they were like really worried that the Jades wouldn't return. Like the spring just wouldn't be strong enough to overcome that upstroke on the tactility. I got a box of, or a bag of Jades right here, and
Wrong bag.
I don't think it's a problem. I really think it's a non-issue, and I think people are worrying over nothing.
I think if you think it's an issue, you should also stay away from a lot of Alp switches and a lot of vintage boards, because a lot of Alp switches actually suffer from that kind of lag feel as well on the upstroke. Like,
yeah, I don't like. I'll be building a board with these soon. But at least pressing one or two switches, like, I don't see how these would be too slow to return. Like I don't think it would ever be slow enough.
So IMO, you only really feel it if you're typing slowly, and while you type slowly, leave your finger on the key as it goes back up. But most people don't leave their finger on a key when it goes back up. You tap it. You press
I think you'd have to try to make these not work properly. Like they feel and sound fine to me. I don't understand. But will we be lubing them as a result? No, probably not, because the way they're designed, the leg is constantly lubing itself because of a little pad inside the housing. So there's not really a point to lubing them. They're already like pretty freaking smooth.
But I mean, I definitely understand it's something that people want to be concerned about, which is fine. This is what the hobby's for.
I agree, but people are being overly concerned about it.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I've heard that like almost every single day for the last month.
Yep.
So someone is saying that, and I'm just like, dude, like you don't have Jades, I have Jades, like it's not bad. Trust me on this, please.
And we in the keyboard community, I think we like to make mountains out of molehills.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I mean we're all kind of guilty of that, I'm sure. Mago Jesus is asking Coda, do you plan on getting a TX65?
I think I'm kind of beholden. I gotta buy it, right? I collect 65% boards. I don't have an excuse not to buy it.
It's pretty much the most bee's knees of 65s you can get nowadays.
Yeah.
That weight, them ridges. Ruffles have ridges. TX.
Ruffles do have ridges. That's very true.
Ruffles, pay me, please.
I had Ruffles the other 2 days ago for the first time in probably 10 years, and it was like the cheddar and sour cream version.
Yes, the only one.
Good. Like these are good. Why don't I buy these? Sorry to go out and buy a bag.
Buy the party bag.
Oof, yes. Gert Tractor asks, while reading up on switch lubing, something that I have seen a few times is that you should use the keyboard a bit before lubing to wear it in a little smoother. Is this a real thing, or does it basically not matter when you lube a switch? Wondering if the idea behind this is to smooth out some of the bigger quote-unquote bumps. So I'm actually a pretty big advocate of doing this. I usually recommend that you do this whenever possible. So all brand new switches will have what is effectively a break-in period. You know, they will get smoother after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of just daily typing. And the basis is when you start with a smoother switch before lubing, you will end with a smoother switch after lubing. Pretty simple. Lube doesn't fix everything. Lube helps. It will make your switch smoother if you do it right, obviously. But you can't take a shitty switch, lube it, and have it be an amazing switch. That's not usually how it works.
At best, it'll be an okay switch.
Yeah, lube makes good switches fantastic. It doesn't make shitty switches good. I say that to people all the time. But yeah, I if you can get away with using it for a while before you lube, I recommend that, because that will give you a better and more consistent finished product. But with that said, the margin's probably, I don't know, within 5 or 10%. So if you're like in an absolute hurry or you don't want to desolder a board or something, and you just literally cannot, like a white girl, then do what you gotta do, man. Lube them first if you gotta, but I would recommend the alternative if possible.
And you know what? If you want to know more about that, wait until Brian covers it in the stab lab.
The stab lab.
That's for stabs, not switches, bro.
You'll be lubing stabs too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be doing a comprehensive stabilizer modification guide that will include lubing. I'm gonna start working on that probably tonight, actually, and that will be out soon. And then after that, I'm going to redo the switch lubing guide that I already have up, and I'm gonna like really expand upon it. It's gonna be like a really in-depth lubing switch guide. It's gonna be pretty sweet.
I've been meaning to ask about that, Brian. What happened to the keyboard lounge? What happened to the posts on the keyboard lounge?
So okay, we'll talk about that. That's fine. So two things happened. So when J-Chan and I started KBDLounge.com, it was awesome because the goal was like, me and J-Chan were pretty close, and we're friends, and we both want to help the community. And the idea was that we would put out content that was like really concise, really basic, and just overall really informative to target our audience that was like the new people in the community. Like we weren't necessarily trying to make posts for people that already know everything, like, because that's just a boring read. But, like, we were trying to like help all the new people. And in that essence, I'm like, yes, all for it. That's very cool. But at the same time, like a month into it, after we had released like a dozen articles at that point, including I did a switch lubing guide, which is still pretty good, but it's not as expansive as I want it to be. But I digress. So at the time, like a month into it, J-Chan was having a lot of like family health issues. That's around the time that the M65 group buy like was kind of struggling. And he was just like, I can't, like, I'm at the hospital all the time. Like, I can't, I need to do this and that. And I'm like, dude, you got to do your own thing. That's fine. And, like, he just didn't have the time to put into it because J-Chan's, like, defining character of his image is doing way more than he's able to do. Or at least trying to. And a lot of times he succeeds, and sometimes, unfortunately, he doesn't. He bites off way more than he can chew, more often than not. And it sucks, and he likes to make people happy, but this time it caught up with him, and he got really wrecked and really far behind in a lot of things. And he just didn't have the time for it anymore. And I don't know, it's kind of a bummer, but that's how it goes. But an equally important reason, or maybe even more so, was this was also at the time where Huey and I took a step back and looked at Top Clack as a whole, and we were like, we should like do something more.
I was like, hey Brian, do you want to do something? Do you want to get real?
It was like how do we take this, like, because like at the time, like, we were noticing a pretty steady growth in viewership, both in live viewers and on VODs, and we were like, people are actually liking this content. So
surprise.
It's actually working.
It was like, it was just like three people bullshitting. Like that's like how we started. It was all for fun, obviously, and it still is. But so we took a step back and we're like, Huey's like, okay, we should make a website. We should do reviews and guides and so. And I was like, yes, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And I'm like, okay, well, what about KBD Lounge? And like, at this time, J-Chan was still having a lot of issues. So I was like, hey, dude, I don't think KBD Lounge is going to work out right now. I would like to just take that same kind of mentality, that theory, like in my writing and what I do, and just port that over to Top Clack instead, and just kind of build that, because Huey and I are Top Clack now. Like that's our brand, and the idea is to build the brand. So it's like, a lot of stuff that I'm going to be doing is the same thing that I was doing on KBD Lounge, but it's just going to be on Top Clack instead. And, maybe someone else can pick up the mantle that I left there with J-Chan if he ever isn't busy enough. But, we'll see. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. Those are the two big reasons why KBD Lounge is not really a thing anymore.
So something I appreciate about KBD Lounge, and I appreciate you doing these guides, as much as the Reddit wiki is awesome with so full of information, it is a disorganized disaster. And I have actually made a subreddit to try and fix the wiki on multiple occasions. I even invited Ripster into this other subreddit where I was trying stuff out. But it's just there's so much information there, and the wiki is so limited on Reddit that it's just a pain. So having a central repository where stuff like this is definitely needed. I tried making those 65% keyboard guides and trying to keep it up on Reddit, and just the formatting on it sucks. Formatting on Keycaps sucks, plain and simple. Yeah. So being able to move it to a website is definitely a great addition. So.
Yep, and that's kind of one of the main long-term goals for TopClack.com is just, put up slowly but surely, just put up all information that we can, and hopefully it benefits people that want to gain knowledge, because that's what our community needs, a source for knowledge. And because it's the barrier of entry is like really tough when you first come into keyboards.
Oh,
and I think it chases a lot of people away, because they'll be like, hey, I'm new to the community, look at my Razer or Corsair or whatever. And then everyone's like, "Oh God, downvote! Oh, this is shit."
Why aren't you? And then this sentence they say has like 4 acronyms in it, and it's like person joining is like GMK DCS SP. What? 60%, 78 key.
I don't know what any of this stuff is. And then nobody really. Sometimes people are nice enough to go in those threads and answer questions, but like it's still really, really sparse and like really unfocused, because that's kind of just how Reddit formatting is.
Exactly.
It's just bad for holding and keeping information, and it sucks, but that's just the way it is.
We'll have videos on that stuff in the future. But back to the
questions, because still have several, and we're about.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No worries. No.
Question.
I don't know if I ever actually brought it up on the show, so other people might have been wondering as well. So it was a good topic to cover. Anyways, Ferret Boy 286 asks, "How did you, Coda, become a keyboard enthusiast?"
So Ferret Boy is actually a friend of mine in real life, and that's why he's calling me out here. I started gaming with a group of friends, and at the time I used a $20 Logitech wireless keyboard, and they all made fun of me for not having a mechanical keyboard and having my Elite Razer Corsair, making me the best gamer ever. So I even went out and made a joke and bought $1 keyboards from the dollar store and gave those all to them for Christmas one year, laughing at them for their mechanical keyboards. I thought they were pretty ridiculous. So it actually sent me into the wiki of Reddit, and I read and read and read too much. And I bought a Ducky Zero as my first board, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really cool. And then I was like, wait, I don't use any of these keys. So then, of course, I went to 10 key list, and I was like, wait, I don't use these keys. It just, you fall down that rabbit hole. But it all started with some friends who made fun of me for not having a keyboard.
I dig it. Peer pressure.
Yeah, peer pressure. Which is funny, because now I've obviously sunk my life into keyboards, when before I used to make fun of them for spending, more than $20 on a keyboard.
Nice. Ravel17 is asking, is Laserdisc really dead?
Yes.
Apparently, yes. Pudsey answered that as well. So, apparently a resounding yes. White Ren is asking, Coda, are you in on the Noxuary 268? Then if you're beholden to a 65%?
I am not. I didn't get in on that one. That was a rough time for money in the household, so I skipped out on it. And although I appreciate his quality, the design is a little plain for me. His style is very cut, clean, and dry. And I was looking for some flash. Around that time is when I jumped in a Canoe group buy, so that's where my money went.
That's definitely some nice flash.
Yeah.
Gert Tractor is asking, which I think is a follow-up to the lubing thing we were talking about earlier. He asks, but does lubing prevent switches being smoothed naturally through use? Yeah, you could argue that, because when you have a layer of lube between the plastics, the palm, then they can't smooth each other out during the press, because there's no resistance there, because there's a layer of lube between them. Olivia is saying, check your email, Huey.
Yeah, don't worry.
Frostbite is saying, for a 65%, are you on the bottom right blocker or no blocker? Are you for the bottom right blocker?
That's a good question for a 65% enthusiast.
So,
there's only one right answer.
I built a neutrino, which is the vanilla White Fox. It's the 3-1Us to the left of it's no blocker. So that's the 65% I started out with, and I was like, everyone has to be like this. and then I saw the canoe, and I completely changed my mind, and I want blockers on all of them now. And now I'm like at a loss of what to do with these other boards. It's like I want the blocker there now. So I was no blocker. I've now changed.
I think the blocker always looks better on a 65%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need more case. If
I
you're
think
spending that much money on a case,
SP still sells the MX switch blockers, where if you have a switch there, you put it on and it locks the switch in spot with a flat spot on top. So it's like a faux blocker.
So it's funny we're talking about this. I went back and rebought a White Fox Prima edition. I'd gotten the original group buy, but then I'd sold it. I went and got another one, and I got the Aria layout, which has the empty blocker, but the low profile case is bothering the crap out of me. I'm with Huey on this. It's got to be high profile. So I've actually gone and 3D designed to 3D print out a top plate to put on top of my White Fox to fill that gap and put a blocker in. So once I have that printed, I'll share some pictures. But
you know, that's a mod that I'm sure even the Input Club guys would love to see, because they're all about open source. They're all about people changing things up and expanding on what they've created.
I told him about it. I said, "Hey, you got to get these done for me at the factory. I want an aluminum top plate for this." And they're like, "You can do it." All right.
Oh man, I think that was the end of the questions. So not terribly
Coda.
questionative today.
The last one from Olivia. Are you getting the CA66? It's 65-ish.
I want to jump in on the CA66 for sure.
So do I. International group buy will be happening soon. I know they just finished the production for the round 2 China group buy. And on the post they said once that ships out, they're going to start the group buy for the international, which will be really exciting. What color?
I'm going to have to go with the dark gray. I've tried colored cases in the past, and although they look fantastic, the key set, working with something is really kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Like my clue board is stuck with GMK carbon because I got the orange case. That's the only thing I can go on it. I've got one of the red Tada aluminum cases. I've got like 2 sets that work with it, so I'm gonna have to stick with the dark gray.
Understandable. I agree with that.
Rose gold.
Yep. Only option. There you go. All rose gold caps too. All aluminum like Rama rose gold caps. All right. Well, since we're out of questions, now's probably a good time to start wrapping up, Huey.
Yes. Wrapping things up nice and neat. Thank you everyone so much.
Oh, actually, wait. Do we want to? Speaking of wrapping up, potentially in red boxes, do you want to?
Oh yeah, I guess I'll announce it. Yeah, I should announce it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen on the Top Clack Discord, we are doing a gift exchange for Lunar New Year's. So the story behind this was we missed out on Christmas because we were just busy. So we didn't do it. So we didn't do a Secret Santa. So I was like, hey, what would even be better is embracing my Asianness and doing a gift exchange for Lunar New Year's instead, which is February, mid-February, February 16th. But that's not important. So we have signups open on our Discord if you want to be a part of a gift exchange, which is basically Secret Santa. The only big caveat is because we want to be, in theme of in tradition. So traditionally in Asian cultures, you give money in a red envelope. Obviously, we're not going to just be straight up giving each other money. We're going to be giving each other keyboard gifts. But I'd like to ask if you want to join, you should wrap your present in a red box or red wrapping on your box. So it's as if, you're being Asian and giving the gift. So yeah, that's going on our Discord. It's pretty tight-knit group, but everyone's welcome to join. It'll be nice. It's a $20 minimum for the gifts. You can also specify if you're willing to ship international or not, and that applies to wherever you are in the world. It ends next week for the signups, and next weekend is when I'll be assigning people who their buyer is and giving each person their the person they have to buy for their preference list or wish lists. And hopefully everyone will have their item shipped by New Year's. Not received by New Year's, but shipped by New Year's. So hopefully people will be happy with, finding a nice little Top Clack Discord gift buddy
And unlike this year's RMK Secret Santa, we'll actually do things right. I'm so pissed about this year's RMK Secret Santa.
What happened? I actually didn't follow up on that.
Okay, so like I joined it
right
when it launched, just like I did the year before.
Of course.
Which it went totally fine. Last year's was great for me, but this most recent one, I joined. I never got a match. So and I noticed that everyone was getting matches, and I was like, okay, I'll message King Icewind or whatever his name is, the guy that's coordinating it. So I PM him on Reddit, and I get nothing for a couple days, and then I email him his support email, which is like in the post, whatever. So I email him, and I get nothing for, I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe 3. And I'm like, okay, well that's silly. And he's like, oh, do you still want to join? And I looked at the date, and I still got like 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas, and I'm like, yeah, sure, like give me a match, I'll make something happen. And then like I wait, and he doesn't reply. He gives me nothing for like 2 weeks. And it was almost Christmas, and I was like, you know what, just never mind, because you haven't gotten back to me. And I obviously can't do something in like a day or 2. So it was kind of a letdown, because I really enjoyed doing it last year, and I physically could not do it this year apparently. So I was pretty bummed about that. And there's actually a thread. I don't know, someone posted a thread the other day about the RMK Secret Santa this year, and a lot of people were having problems with either it or King Icewind. So kind of a bummer.
Definitely. Well,
oh well.
Ours won't be, because everyone will be receiving a person.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to address a couple questions real quick.
Yes.
Ravel17 is asking, are you guys going to match the 2 individuals that have similar gift value? Probably not. The idea isn't to... It's a Secret Santa, right? Giving is the primary thing you're doing here. Getting something in return is cool. That's the bonus. But, it's supposed to be like a generosity thing. It's the gift of giving.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you want to give, not what you want to get.
So, like, for example,
exactly.
Even for my preferences, if I listed, like, oh, I want a TX85, a TX80, and I want all these customs,
these $600 customs,
right? Like, no one's gonna actually do that. They'll, it's a minimum of $20, so switches, nice cable, I don't know, something nice. Something creative, I would appreciate, a necklace made of keycaps. I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like,
right?
I was writing down my preferences, and I put several pretty inexpensive things in mine, and then like a couple like medium price things. So I mean, you just be thorough. Just write down. Just fill out all the stuff. It's gonna be fun. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be about giving. That's what everyone should be worrying about. Yes.
And shipping does not count as the costs for the minimum for the gift value, minimum $20.
Yep. Very cool. All right. Well, now it's probably a good time to take off then.
Cool. Thank you everyone so much for joining. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you, Coda, so much for joining us for Top Clack tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad I could be on. Thanks.
It's been a fine and dandy time, and I will be seeing you later this month on which day?
On the 27th of January.
27th of January.
3 weeks away.
If you're in Arizona, if you're near Arizona, if it's reachable by you via transportation, hope to see you in Phoenix, where you can eat Filibertos with us.
Yes.
Final closing notes, just like always. Below the stream, you can find the link to our official Top Clack Discord, where you can come hang out with us, and you can join the Lunar New Year's giveaway in there too. It's in the announcements channel, so that's pretty cool. We also do giveaways there periodically, so if you like winning free shit, then it's probably a good thing to join. You can come hang out with us, and so on and so forth. Also, we do have a subscribe button on our Twitch channel, if you haven't noticed already, in the top right. You can potentially help support us by hitting that and subscribing and giving us a little bit of that donation. That'd be awesome. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you automatically have Twitch Prime, which means unless you're supporting another channel using that, it's going to waste. So if you feel like, maybe we're your favorite channel, or you just don't want it to go to waste, then you can subscribe with that as well. It costs you nothing if you already have Amazon Prime, but it helps us out a lot. And yeah.
Or if you would like to do a one-time subscription, feel free to donate us some bits. Every little bits are a thing. I always forget that.
Every little bit counts.
You sound like me right there.
Someone's got to knock Olivia out of that top spot.
Olivia's been going back and forth with someone else. I don't remember who it was though.
No, it wasn't.
That-
Oh, at the beginning, it was with Geo at the beginning, and then Geo dropped out of that competition. And it was someone with SYN something. Sorry, I forgot your name. You were number 1, but then I forgot your name because you dropped out of number 1. Hint, hint.
Maybe it shows us somewhere. We have to like go and look at Twitch stats because it doesn't show us if you just drop down right here.
I could figure it out. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. We will catch you next week every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time for Top Clack, our weekly show. But next week, expect some awesome things for us. Like this weekend, expect a Witch Switch episode 4. Maybe expect a E6 build stream Monday or Tuesday. Hint, hint, maybe.
Cool. I need to figure out what switches I'm going to put in mine.
Jailhouse switches. Jailhouse switches are best.
Oh, no, they're not.
No.
They're very subpar.
No, they aren't.
Ooh. Ooh, this man. Your preference.
And on the note, thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next time.